Sir has already introduced me. I'd like to delve a little deeper into my background here. So, as mentioned, I did my BTech with a major in information technology from Delhi Technological University. I graduated in 2019. As a part of my college curriculum, I have been part of a couple of societies. I led the TEDx team and some other teams in my college, organized a couple of events. I've done a couple of internships here and there in different domains, ranging from technology to marketing. And post my graduation, I worked with Citi as a technology analyst for almost 2 years. I've developed applications that were used by senior management over there for Citi traders, etc. And it was a very good experience in terms of technology as well as finance. OpenCap is another internship that I've done in the marketing domain in my college final year. It was a very enriching experience because I've always been interested in marketing and it gave me an exposure to digital marketing. So I just suggest ki, as you keep studying in college, just try to explore as many interests that you can so that it helps you arrive at a final goal that you want to achieve post your graduation. Just mentioning about my CAT 2020 percentile, I got 99.52 percentile overall. The split, as mentioned, is VARC 99.78, DILR 99.04, and QA is 98.83. Uh, Moving on to why MBA. I was in my final year of college when I realized that I would want to do an MBA because having been part of multiple societies that required me to lead a team and take charge, as well as an internship in marketing, I realized this is something that really interests me. But I realized I didn't want to go right into MBA after the college. I wanted to experience the corporate culture and experience the technical side of business as well. So I went with Citi because I'd already got a PTO from my internship over there. So I started working with Citi, and I'm really glad I did because it helped me equip with certain capabilities that are being used here in the Calcutta campus today as well. The first reason was that I wanted to pursue my interests. I knew there are certain interests that I would want to know about further, and hence, like interests like marketing and finance. And since many of you might know, IIM Calcutta is very famous for its financial capabilities and the skills that it imparts in finance sector. So I wanted to explore that, and hence, I decided I would want to do an MBA. Being in the corporate culture, I realized MBA is a degree that might help you a lot in your career progression. It gives you a certain edge over the others because at the end of the day, no matter what domain you are basically the business concepts that you learn here and the practical skills that you learn here can be implemented in almost every domain that you're working in. So it definitely gives you a professional edge and helps you progress in your career faster. The third reason would be to develop a certain skill set. I basically realized I am definitely interested in the business side of things, but I definitely required a fundamental understanding of the business concepts. And what better way to do that instead of like rather than doing MBA? So here I am. The fourth would be the MBA colleges basically offer, apart from the great faculty and apart from the kind of curriculum that they offer an extensive network of alumni. And you get to work under, you get to learn from the smartest minds in the industry. And that is an experience that really intrigued me and pushed me to do better in my CAT exam. And now coming to the strategy for CAT 2020. So I was almost going to be done with 2 years of my work experience, and I realized I needed to start preparing for CAT because that is my end goal. So when you strategize for CAT 2020, even before the first step that I mentioned here, the concepts, the first and foremost thing is that you analyze and identify what is your end goal. Once you're clear with what you want to do and where you want to land after this entire journey, I think if that is clear, it helps you strategize well. It helps you keep motivated throughout the process. So I identified that I wanted to go to one of the Holy Trinity Institutes and wanted to do an MBA starting 2021. Just keep reinforcing and reminding yourself of your end goal. So, and honestly, everybody can do it in the most strangest ways. I remember I put up an entire this board on my notice board, and it said Pragya Malik class of 2023. I am ABC. So I think whatever works out for you, keep experimenting. Just keep reinforcing where you want to land post your CAT journey, and I think if that is clear, it will help you fare pretty well, better than others. And starting with the exact strategy that I followed, I created a rough map of sorts for myself. I divided the 7 months of preparation into different buckets. The first one, I realized I wanted to be done with the basic concepts of different subjects that I was going to cover. I realized I wanted to get done with the basic concepts by end of June. Again, this might differ for everybody. I tried to align it better to my goals because I knew what my capabilities and skills are. Based on what yours are, you should create a timeline for yourself that suits you better. So I realized that I wanted to clarify my concepts by the end of June. I got a study material from Time Institute. So I forgot to mention, I actually took CAT coaching in my final year of college, that is 2019. But I knew I was not going to attempt the CAT exam that year. So, but I had my study material from there. I had some class notes. That's where I started. I knew VARC was something that I was pretty good at because I am an avid reader, as I mentioned. I love reading, and just reading does not help you. But when I started taking the questions, when I started attempting, I realized that I was fairly good at VARC, and that was something I could leverage in the final exam. DILR again is a subject that I was pretty good at. I really enjoy solving puzzles, and I realized I could do a good amount of questions in the stipulated amount of time. But quant was definitely a pain point for me. I realized I was lacking both in speed and concept clarity. So till June, I realized I'm not going to work on speed. I'm just going to clarify my basic concepts. I went through the entire study material of time that it had to offer. I completed the entire study material, and I was not focusing on doing it faster. I was just focusing on completing the question basically. And whenever I was lacking in something, I made sure that I'm looking at teacher videos or videos on YouTube of different channels where they teach you different concepts. So that is about the basic concept clarity from the study material. Next on was the mock phase. I started giving mocks starting in August of 2020. Now mocks are extremely important, and your strategy in the mocks is also very important to help you succeed in the CAT exam. Only attempting mocks mindlessly will not help you. I would like to suggest that you can do very well if you do an in-depth analysis of the mock exam. So I started with the mock exams, and in the first 4 or 5 mocks, I realized I'm giving mocks, but I'm not improving anywhere. Because the thing is, I was not able to realize where I'm lacking or where my strong points are. And if you're not able to analyze that after giving a mock, I don't think the mock is of any significance over there. So starting August 2020, I started giving mocks. In total, till the exam day, I gave about 33 mocks. So how to analyze the mock exam? You take a mock exam. Suppose you've decided for yourself that you will be giving 2 mocks a week. So you give a mock exam. You take out about 2 to 3 hours or as much time that you take to attempt the exam. You take out that amount of time to analyze the test that you've just given. Now, at the end of the analysis, two things you should be very sure about: what you did right and where you went wrong. And while identifying where you went wrong, just try to work on it, try to learn where you're lacking, and the next time try not to repeat those mistakes. So initially, as I mentioned, I couldn't analyze where I'm lacking, but by the end, when I had mastered the art of analyzing the mock tests, I realized that there were certain mistakes that I was repeating earlier, which I had ceased to do in the I'm sorry, in the latter half of my preparation. Uh, Mocks will go until the end of your preparation. Even in my final week preceding the CAT exam, I was giving exams, even though not as frequently as in the former part of my preparation. In the latter half, like in the last 1 week preceding the CAT exam, I just did 3 or 4 previous year CAT papers. And honestly, since my preparation was very good and the day was good, I could do well, and that actually contributed to my confidence for the final day. But let me just say here that you might not do well, and that should not be a demotivating factor. I know it can be; it's very stressful if you're taking an exam like two days before the final exam and you're not able to do better. I think that should not stop you from doing your best in the final exam. Try to stay calm through the day and move forward. That was about the mock exams. Revision is not a certain point in your strategy, in your CAT preparation. Revision is an ongoing process. So, what helped me was, again, I'm just sharing what helped me. Something might else work out for somebody else. So, what helped me was that I created a cheat sheet of quant formulas. I created like an entire formula book. I wrote down every formula that I came across while my basic clarity concepts, and I used to watch these videos by professors. So I taken the mock test series from both time and IMS, and I think it helped me to a very good extent. Um, these solutions basically had their professors teaching us about how you could approach different kind of questions, and I went through them very in a very in-depth manner. And whenever I came across a certain shortcut that was being used, so as the last part, I'll just combine the last part of the strategy here, the tips and tricks. There are a lot of tricks that you can use to solve your questions in a fast and efficient manner. I know that during preparation, we learn doing we learn attempting questions in a very detailed manner, but the trick to acing the CAT exam is not just doing well, not just having a very good clarity of your concepts, but also to apply them very smartly in the CAT exam. So, as you know, it's a very time-bounded exam. It's better if you're able to solve questions like from sections like quant within 1 minute, or max to max 1.5 minutes. So I created, like, I used to take screenshots whenever I came across a new strategy. I used to go through these YouTube channels which provided you short tips and tricks, and it helped me immensely in my especially in my quant. I'd like to take an example here from the day of exam in my CAT 2020. Basically, LRDI, I used to be able to solve like one set in 10 to 12 minutes. And on the CAT day exam, there was a whole difference in the kind of format that there was. And I was really taken aback by it, but I realized I had to stay calm and move forward with it. So 16 minutes into the exam, I've not solved a single set, and I've reached a deadlock. I'm not able to proceed further. You are very likely to lose your calm in this scenario. But the only way forward is knowing that you want to do well, knowing your end goal, and you just power through it. I realized there was a tip that was given in one of the sessions, that sometimes you can use the options of a question to basically arrive at the final answer. So I went through the different questions in the set, and I realized when I analyzed the options of a particular question, I could eliminate all three and arrive at one of them based on how far I've come already in the set. And with that, I could solve the entire set. And it really helped me. I solved like 3.5 sets eventually in that CAT exam, and I got a 99.04 in the DILR. So when I mean that basically just keep revising throughout, keep the formulas fresh in your memory, keep your speed maths very fast, because that will come in handy on the day of the exam. And that's about it for the strategy for the CAT exam. When I talk about the final calls and admits, I had calls from IIM Calcutta, Lucknow, FMS, Indore, Kozhikode, and SPJIMR. I had calls from other new and BGIMs. I converted all my calls except for IIM Kozhikode, where I was waitlisted. So about these interviews and GDPIs, what happens is I knew I got a recent percentile, and I knew I'd be getting good enough calls. So I started preparing as soon as I got my results out from the CAT. I enrolled into this program that Career Launcher offers for people to prepare for GDPIs. I made sure that I reached out to my mentor almost every 2-3 days. I worked on my personal questions. So basically, you can divide the kind of questions that are being asked in interviews in various buckets. One would be personals, where they ask you questions like, why do you want to do an MBA, and where do you see yourself in 5 years? What are your strengths and weaknesses? So these are your personal questions. Make sure you reflect on your entire life, basically, when you develop your answers for these personal questions. You make sure that you come up with good stories from your life and connect them to your answers. So when I talk about my strengths and weaknesses, I bring in the sports that I used to play back in school, how I captained the team, and then link it to how that might help me in the corporate culture and help me lead a team better and become a better manager, basically. So this is how you go forward with it. Make sure you have good enough stories and good enough answers for personals. These might be available in abundance, so you can prepare for them well before the time. The others are your work ex. So if you have work ex, if you have internships, make sure you're very clear with the kind of work that you've done, with the kind of concepts that you've used in your work ex. The next would be so just a second. Yeah. So the next kind of questions would be general affairs. Just make sure you're on top of any news that is happening. I made sure that I followed news every day, and not just objectively following news. Just make sure you kind of develop an opinion for whatever is happening around the world. When I used to read these articles in the Hindu, and I went through these editorials and opinions, I went through their opinion, and then I tried to reflect later on that what do I think of this particular topic, and what kind of opinion do I hold about this particular news that is prevalent these days. The next would be the academics. So you make sure you're clear with the concept that you studied in your undergraduation or any other certifications that you've had. You clear your concepts over there. In certain institutes, they focus on a couple of subjects, like Calcutta focuses on maths. I was asked a mathematical question in IIM Lucknow's interview as well. So this is just an example. I was asked that tell a curve that is continuous everywhere but is not differentiable everywhere. So I prepared well in advance so I could answer this question. So I just suggest that try to clarify all your concepts in undergraduation, and make sure you know what kind of questions does that particular institute prefer, and you prepare that well beforehand. So this was about the final tips and tricks. Moving on to the final tips that I might have for you. One would be mental health. I think we're all battling a very strange situation here at our hands, the pandemic that is going on. It's been affecting everybody. And amongst the aspirants that are here for CAT 2021 here, I know a lot of you might be studying right now, a lot of you might be working, and the toll is equal on everybody. People who are working from home, and I know that the amount of work and the pressure that we're getting from the our offices is a lot, and it gets difficult on certain days when you're preparing. Same for the students, because they've been preparing for their college exams, they've been preparing for their internships, and they've been preparing for the exam. So it gets a lot on certain days. Make sure you take a break, you take out time to do something that you appreciate, that you like, be it painting, be it reading, anything that helps you. Consistency is the key to acing the CAT exam. I think the reason that I did so well was because I was consistent throughout. I made sure that I followed my plan. After developing the entire rough plan for the 7 months, I'd actually brought it down to plans for each day. I was putting in like 4 to 5 hours every day, and I made sure that I stuck to it. Maybe on some days when I needed a break, I took a break, but then I got up to it. The final thing that I really want to stress on is hard work is as important as it is, will not fare you alone. Smart work is very important here. Use the right mix of strategies that suit you. Every like the different strategy mixes work out for different people. As I mentioned, I followed certain tips and tricks. I took out some time for myself. I focused on certain subjects. I focused on my strong points as well as my weak points. And I experimented a lot with the kind of test taking strategies that I had. So initially, I was following a sequential manner. I experimented a lot with the VA especially. Initially, I used to attempt in RC and then VA. I experimented with VA and then RC, and then I did a mix of both. That's how I attempted on the D day. So once you experiment a lot with your test taking strategies, basically it will improve your overall attempt in the CAT exam, because it will help you one. It will help you with identifying the right side of questions that you want to attempt, especially in sets like DILR. You need to identify the right sets because you have very limited time. And if you get into a set and suppose you waste your 15 minutes into the exam, I think it costs you a lot in the final percentile. So identify the right kind of sets, identify the right kind of questions in quant that you want to do. If you think you're not able to do it, or if you think that it might take a lot of time, just move on to it, skip it, and maybe come back to it later if you have some time. So smart work and hard work both go hand in hand in the CAT test taking strategy. And yeah, I think these were my 2 cents from my CAT exam. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer. And you can find me on LinkedIn. If you have any further questions, we can connect, and I'd love to help you all. That's it from my end.
Thank you, Pragya. So nice of you. It is very well explained, and
Thank you
probably
so
it
much.
will help. And Yashvi is also here. We welcome Yashvi. She is from IIM Udaipur. And Pragya, I think there are a few questions on chat. If you would like to respond to them, please.
Right. So Divya Bansal says, can I apply for CAT during my final year? Yes, definitely. So you can apply for CAT during your final year. You can take the CAT in your final year, and after graduation, you can join whatever school that you get in. Um, Shashidhar is asking, could you please suggest where we should not do mistakes so that it will be helpful for us? See, the kind of mistakes that you're making is different for everybody. You should analyze what are your strong points and your weak points. Uh, if you're good in one particular subject, make sure you're not neglecting it, because constantly putting in efforts for that will help you achieve a very good percentile. So even if you're getting like a 99 percentile in one of the subjects and you're lacking in the others, maybe that will push your overall percentile and will help you get in a good college of your choice. I just suggest that analyze your mock exams very well. Keep revising your concepts, and that's how you can avoid making mistakes. Um, Bharat says, how can I improve mock score? Bharat, again, try to attempt as many mock tests that you can. Analyze them well. Just keep revising your concepts. Make sure that whatever mistakes you've been making in the past mock tests, you don't repeat that. Take previous year CAT exams also. So the thing is, these mock tests that you get from the test series, they're a little difficult from the main CAT exam level, to help you prepare better. And of course, the kind of percentile that you get is a little lower, because most of the people who are very serious about the exam and who've been preparing well are the people who are taking those mock tests. So your percentile is a little lower. Don't get demotivated by that. Your overall percentile is a little inflated in the final crack exam. So that's what. Shaja asks, is there any sectional cutoff? So in most of the CAT exams, to get in most of the colleges, in order to get a shortlist, basically they have a minimum bar that is about 85 percentile. But I think different colleges pay different weightage to different subjects. It might not be very apparent, but suppose some might give a little more weightage to quant, some might give a little more weightage to DILR. But just make sure that you're performing decently well in all of the subjects, and that will basically help you fare well in the final strategy. Um, how to start basics prep for DILR and quants. Javis, for quants, you can start with the different study materials that are available from different coaching institutes. You can start off from there, clear your concepts. As I mentioned, don't worry about doing it within 1 minute or 1.5 minutes initially. Just make sure that you're understanding the concept that is being applied, and later on you can work on your speed. For DILR, there are a lot of YouTube channels that you would find if you have not enrolled in any coaching institute, that is. So you will find a lot of YouTube channels that teach you how to attempt different sets in the DILR. You can go ahead with that. You can maybe solve puzzles also. That will basically stimulate your brain cells, and you can perform better in DILR in the overall strategy. Um, so how to get brief syllabus of CAT? So there is no strict syllabus of sorts. If you get a study material, I think those are pretty comprehensive. You go through all the rough topics that are mentioned there, and I think you should be good to go from there. What other question? Do academic marks matter? See, yes. At the end of the day, your undergraduation score will definitely matter. Your 10th and 12th will matter, because as you can see, if you go to different institute sites, you can see that they have very fixed weightage for different exams for 10th, 12th, and undergraduation. I think I lagged in my undergraduation score by a little bit, because I got a 7.94, and I think I missed the Bangalore call because of that. But at the end of the day, just make sure that is something that is not in your hands anymore. If that is not, so you can just go ahead with preparing well for CAT, maximize your score in CAT, and perform well in GDPI. I think that should make your prospects brighter for a better institute of your choice. Um, you're a psychology student, any benefits? See, this might come with benefits because the engineers are at a little bit of disadvantage because there are a lot of engineers who apply and they're able to perform well in the final CAT exam. So the kind of bar that they have for them is a little higher compared to other exams. So these institutes basically value diversity in academics. So if you go for your final score for admission or your final score before the PI, they've mentioned that they give about 5 points or 7 points out of the final cumulative score that they give you for diversity of academics. So if you're a psychology student, definitely you're at a bit of advantage over there. You will get a little bit more score based on the kind of studies that you've done in your undergraduation.